You love cockfighting, the tin can tequila, the filthy money, and the juice when Pollo Loco drops into the ring.
I sure do.
But you hate spending hours chasing down what was supposed to be a hot cockfight only to find 2 house cats in a box.
Been there, done that.
You don't want second-rate action. You want feathers flying and razor-sharp talons clawing excitement right into your veins.
Now you're talking.
Cocky is the all-new cockfight location app that will never steer you wrong.
Thanks, Cocky.
We'll keep your thumb on the pulse of your local cockfighting scene at home or when you're out and about.
I never seem to find a good cockfight when I'm traveling for business.
Cocky can. Let the other guys show up on Monday with nothing interesting to say. You will be holding court at the water cooler, regaling the ladies with the kind of excitement that only happens around a good cockfighting ring. Cocky does not condone the use of homemade alcohol or actual brushes with death. Cocky is a GPS location service app, cannot be held responsible for deaths, rapes, or robberies that may occur from its use. Cocky. Don't talk the talk, be the cock of the walk.
A Popco brand. Hello and thank you for cracking another Road Soda. This is 124. On this episode, the police do it a little differently in Thailand. There is no way home in the arcade, and is the Messiah real? I'm Isaiah Cooper. With me is
Justin Mitchell, the one of many, I guess, probably. It's a common name.
It's a very common name. Just about everybody we have on this show is named Justin.
Yeah.
So don't feel that special.
Yeah, I probably already told you this, but my family is Greek, but our last name is Mitchell. Did I tell you I found out?
I've heard this.
Okay, never mind then.
No way, I don't. What do you?
Really?
Yeah,
okay, so I just recently found out that when my great-grandfather came over from Greece, they changed his last name, as happened to a lot of immigrants, and my aunt was trying to excitedly explain to me what our last name was, and I was it was Milikakis, and I was like, "Ooh, yikes!" Thanks, immigration officer. Appreciate that. Yeah. So
maybe it was your grandfather who did it.
I hope so. Yeah, he's probably smart dude. He's just like, yeah, I don't want millions of cocks for a last name.
He's looking around Milikakis. It could be Mitchell. Sure, whatever you want. New life. All right. Guys, what a great time! 124 episodes. We're still doing the arcade thing. Justin had some cool experiences going on, and the Millennial Book Club, great stuff. Everything in this episode's wonderful. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can reach out to RoadSodaMail at gmail.com, and you can also call us at 706-200-1213. We also have the Reddit page. We have a subreddit now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, because you know what happened was, so I jumped on Reddit a while ago. Like it says 170 days ago, I think. I was on Reddit and I made an account for Road Soda, and I was going to post the podcast around just to be like, I'm trying to get people to fucking listen. So I'm posting it around, and I came back a while later, and I was looking at it, and I noticed I had these messages that I never looked at. It was like hundreds of days later, and I look back at the messages, and all of those posts, as they were posted, periodically got deleted. And it's because I had no link karma. I had nothing. So I had made an account, and I started posting, and 90% of all subreddits have rules against that, and they immediately delete posts. So I was forced into becoming a member of Reddit by being a part of the community and liking stuff and commenting and doing all this shit, just so I can then post my Reddits. Not post, but actually post these podcasts. But yeah, and then it also opened up the ability for me to create a subreddit, which I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been out of the Reddit game for so long. So, but I just created it. I made a little emblem. I think Jeff and Nelly are on there a little bit doing some stuff, and there's maybe 1 or 2 posts. It's nothing crazy, but I think we could slowly start filling it up. Maybe putting the news articles that don't make it to the episodes. Put them on there.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, or just whatever we can do. I'm excited, and I'm hoping to draw in a little more people.
You know what else would be excellent? If you've ever been to a subreddit that focuses on a show, like the Rick and Morty subreddit, they do episode rewatch parties, where everybody has a tab open where they watch the episode and then they comment. I mean, we could do that with a Millennial Book Club, where we have a Millennial Book Club watch party and everybody kind of comments as you're watching.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, obviously we have to, like, you know, once the community gets to a point where there'd be people who are available to do that, that would be fucking awesome. Like, but that's my hope is I really want to just kind of like, so for the arcade we have this game, and then, you know, the Millennial Book Club, but maybe actually go to like these subreddits and put the episode there and hope it doesn't get kicked off for like whatever rules are in that subreddit, and people actually go, oh, this podcast is talking about the thing that I like. Maybe I'll actually listen to this podcast. 'Cause I don't know, man. I listen back to it, and I've stopped hating my own voice. As far as like when I listen to it, I actually listen to the show and I go, this is actually a good fucking podcast. Like, I think if people really listen to this podcast, like the way it's organized, the way it's done with the commercials, everything, I think people, this is better than most other podcasts. I'm gonna say that shit right to your face. I don't care. Whatever podcast you got going, whatever. And so I don't know, man. Thank you guys for joining us. We have a lot of great stuff on this episode.
Yeah, this is a very fun episode. They're all fun, but I enjoyed this one.
Thanks.
Yeah, you gave me a new addiction with that arcade game, The No Way Home. My God.
Now another word from our sponsors. Welcome to Dark Web MD, medical knowledge your doctor won't tell you about. One time I was delivering pizza to a house, and the next thing I knew, I woke up sewed anus to mouth with my 3 friends. Luckily, I was at the front and didn't have to eat poop, and was also able to comfortably access Dark Web MD to find out more about my symptoms. Dark Web MD gives complete access to archives of information to help with everything from at-home tumor removal to the actual value of an arm and a leg. Sick of losing to your tennis partner? Send them polio. That's right, Dark Web MD won't only help identify ailments, we will sell them to you. Dark Web MD, where you go when they say there's no cure. This just in. This is
Yes, this is Justin.
Yes, Justin. Were you ready for the news? Yes. Here it is. We have 4 news articles today, and I think I kind of want to do all of them if I remember correctly. I remember thinking to myself, I think we want to look at all these because, all right, the first one, just so we can rip roaring right through these.
Yeah.
This one just says, "Now that's news." All right. And that is my... this one came out pretty early in the week. So you might have heard about this because I think it did pop onto the scene for a little bit, maybe on Reddit and some other places. Man kills coyote with bare hands after it attacks his 2-year-old son.
Dude, what a beast.
Now that's news, right?
Now, I will say that coyotes are not very large.
They're
but
little bitches.
They are little bitches. That being said, if one bites your calf, you're never going to walk again. You know,
Yeah.
if it gets a hold of your calf, you're done for.
I think you're right. So yeah, he fucking... there's a video of it.
No.
I didn't watch the video. A New Hampshire man said he suffocated a coyote after it attacked his 2-year-old son. I think that's the same way that guy killed that cougar. Remember that
He
story?
choked it, yeah.
He
Yeah, so he like rear naked choked the cougar from what I understand.
Well, this guy might have done the same thing.
Yeah.
They
They
just
just
said he
called it
suffocated.
suffocated,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I don't think you think he crushed it? Like, he just laid on it?
Yeah, or maybe he had a jacket and wrapped around its face.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Man, that's... Ian O'Reilly was hiking with his family on the trail Monday when the coyote grabbed his son's coat and dragged him to the ground. He's like, "Oh, no, bitch.
Oh, no. Not in my house.
It was snapping and attacking and lunging." O'Reilly said, "The reason why it got me on the chest is because it was able to jump on me." Earlier in the day, the same coyote attacked a vehicle. It also went after 2 dogs in a yard, then turned on their owner. So
I wonder if it potentially had rabies.
100%. So coyotes don't act like that.
No, they don't. I used to live on a ranch, and there were like packs of coyotes,
Yes.
and they would make like tons of noise. And like if they saw you, like I've seen them, and they were not interested in interacting whatsoever.
No. Yeah, coyotes are, as you said, they're pack animals. So when there is one not in a pack and it's doing shit like that, that means the other one's kicked it out because something's fucked up with it. They don't want it around.
Yeah. I guys, look. Just while Paul's using the bathroom, how do you feel about him? How are you feeling?
I'm not excited.
Not a fan.
Not a huge fan.
After what Paul said to Janice last feeding, it was just kind of like, wow, it's
You would
2020.
You can't say that shit. You can't
Coyote culture has evolved.
We're moving forward.
Yeah, you can't just kip and yelp whenever you feel like it to Janice. I mean, that's messed up. Janice is a wonderful woman.
You know what I'm thinking we should do?
What's that?
Let's just kick him that.
Let's shun him.
Shun him.
Amish
Shun
do
him.
it. Why don't coyotes do it more?
Paul who?
Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man, there's I think there's a video of the coyote attacking a car. I don't think there's a video of the guy killing it. Again, I didn't watch, so I wouldn't know. But I love that. That kind of news gets me all stoked up.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's exciting.
Here we go. It's the perfect crime. That's what this one says. As it loads. So yeah, anyway, about Paul, the coyote. What the fuck?
Yeah. Here's the thing about Paul. He's got good intentions. He has good coyote intentions. He just
You know, he likes to play his part. He stalks the prey just fine.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the howling...
Ever since he fucked that piece of driftwood, it's gotten real weird.
It's a little weird.
It's weird.
The search continues. Finally, this fucking this thing loads. Search continues for monkey that escaped from Galveston home during break-in.
Okay, so perfect crime. Monkey breaks in, fucks shit up.
Well, I think the monkey
Bounces.
already lived there.
Oh, so there was a break-in,
Yeah.
and the monkey escaped during the break-in. There was a separate party that was the robber.
I'm holding up quotes, second party, yes.
Right, okay.
There was no robber. The monkey was just like, fuck this shit.
Okay.
I'm taking the watches. I'm taking the TV. Galveston, Texas. Police are still for a capuchin monkey. Still looking for a capuchin monkey that
Good luck.
escaped from... I know.
This isn't a Reese's macaque or a chimpanzee. You're never going to find that capuchin.
That thing is gone. Monkey that escaped from an East End house after an apparent break-in. The monkey's name is Lily, according to the Galveston police. Despite reports early Tuesday that the monkey was found dead, the police department says that the search is still underway. So they just ignore that. Different monkey. Anyway. Oh yeah. There was a report that the monkey died, but that was not the same monkey.
Was this also? It was also in Texas where that monkey killed the kitten.
Huh.
Yikes.
Interesting stuff, huh? What is happening out there? And here is our next news article. I forgot to read my little title for it. It says, "It's the only way."
I'm so excited.
Police officers pretend to have sex against a tree in a bizarre bid to catch Western man and woman who filmed their X-rated outdoor antics in Thailand.
Can I just say that Western man is a really politically incorrect way to say American. Just say American.
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Do you think everybody that's white is a Western man?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's really fucked up.
I'm offended.
I know. I'm
garbage.
I'm gonna write the dailymail.com, and I'm also gonna write the police department in Thailand and let them know how I feel. Anyway, as you can see from the photo here.
What is happening?
So
they're fully clothed.
Yes, they're fully clothed. They're against a palm tree and like a basketball court. No, it's a tennis court. Mm-hmm. And one cop looks like he's, doing something to the other cop. He's got him bent over. Mm-hmm. 2 Thai police officers pretend to have sex against a palm tree. All right, I'm following. Uh-huh. To reenact an illegal university campus romp. Okay. So there's a video of...
That dude is actually having sex with another person that is not... The gender is not identifiable.
It is against like the same palm tree. Now, is there just a photographer that hangs around that palm tree?
Yeah.
Why don't they just ask that guy?
Yeah.
Hey, who did it? Hey,
NDA,
photographer guy.
Signed an NDA. Can't
do it, man. I mean, I like my job. So yeah, it's just these guys going out and being like, okay, so they're matching up with the palm tree to make sure like this is the same place.
Oh, I understand what's happening. Right. So the way they reenact it because yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, they don't have to. What's funny is they really don't have to do that.
They just take a picture.
They could just go to that spot and match it up to the picture. They don't have to add two bodies.
No. The officer said I had to do it. Yeah.
No, you got to go grab the palm tree.
Yeah, grab that palm tree.
And this is what we do. Don't you remember the training?
Call me Sharon.
Call me Sharon. That's part of the training. Okay, and this is the last one. It's called "Is That Allowed?" Okay. This is kind of interesting. This is what I wanted to talk about. Man charged with murder. Okay, after woman dies a year after he shot her.
All right. So what I'm understanding is that he shot her. A year later, she died, possibly from gun related stuff, but possibly also she
she just died a year later.
Yeah,
that's what the title says, is she died a year later.
Right. Okay. So let me know. Let it be known what's going on.
A man is now facing murder charges. All right, in Manatee County after shooting his girlfriend on multiple occasions.
Look, officer.
He loves me.
Officer, here's the deal. I sell a lot of drugs and put my girlfriend in dangerous situations. I just wanted to improve her bullet immunity.
Right.
I figured if I kept shooting her once a month, and then eventually once a week.
They do the same thing to us down at the station.
Is that why you guys are immune to bullets?
Well, more than average.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right.
Deputies say Jimmy Hernandez Pantaja, whatever, accidentally shot his girlfriend, Amaria, whatever, back in 2017 while they were driving in Palmetto. She was taken to the Memorial Hospital where she was treated for injuries she suffered and later recovered from. In 2018, deputies say that he shot her again after they left an Olive Garden in Bradenton. Reports say
oh my God.
He was driving, began to flick mint wrappers at him in a playful manner while she was in the passenger seat. He's like, oh yeah, you want to flick some shit?
Oh my God. But was this one an accident?
And want to know, did she tell him that was happening, or was he like, no, she was flicking some mint wrappers, all fun like? Mm-hmm. And I don't play that. When they approached the stoplight at 53rd, deputies say he grabbed a firearm from the center console, cocked it, and then pressed it to the left side of her stomach area and pulled the trigger. I wonder what that did. Deputies say that Hernandez said he didn't know the gun was loaded, despite the weight of it. And there had been no conflict prior to being shot, although there had been previous incidents where the displayed gun apparently had threatened her with it. So it's like his little thing, right?
Yeah. And as a firearm owner, that's one thing that you learn pretty quickly is that the more you handle the weapon, the more chances there are for you to accidentally do something stupid.
Yeah. And so the second shot was in 2018 when he did it, pressed against her side. As a result of that shooting, Peralta had multiple surgical procedures and later died in February 2019.
From what?
The surgical procedures.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is that so? But that's crazy. So if you shot someone today and they continue having procedures and everything and whatnot, so a year later they die, you're then charged with murder.
Yeah, I don't know what the statute to limitations is on that. Maybe it's like 5 years, 7 years or something. But
because it becomes harder and harder from the time that I understand here. It's a year, and she was shot, and then a year later she dies, and they hold up of complications due to the shooting. But it's like after so much time passes, it begins getting. I'm all for justice. I'm all.
You've always said that.
I do say that.
Yeah.
Every day I say, Justin, remember, I'm all for justice. Yep. But when you start doing things like a year after someone gets shot and they die of complications, because there's a lot happens in a year. You don't know how every time she maybe had the surgery, she wasn't doing what she should have to take care of it. You don't know that. You don't know that after she would get home from the surgery, she'd start drinking and smoking. You don't know how she lived her life. Maybe she didn't take her antibiotics.
Let the dog lick the wound.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And then she dies, and now you charge. Now it could be obviously this situation is pretty cut and dry. You fucking shot her directly. But what if the things are a little more gray? What if the areas are a little more gray and somebody accidentally did something more than an accident than this is, and then they die? It's like this is crazy to me almost, that there's that much of a direct line that they now can. I mean, you can charge anybody what you want with murder. I can charge you with murder right now. Doesn't mean you're going to be convicted.
Well, and the other thing is that what I've learned from this article is that you can shoot people and not go to jail.
Yeah, and you can shoot your girlfriend all you want.
Fine.
She's still going to come back and be like, it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Jesus Christ. Could you imagine?
If I shot my wife and she came back to me, I would divorce her. Be like,
Are you ridiculous?
Clearly not of stable mind.
Yeah.
My God.
Find somebody without guns.
Yeah, Jesus.
What is happening? Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? You can call us in call in to us 706-200-1213 and tell me what you're thinking about that.
And that's the news.
I guess some news, right?
Gillette Apollo? No. The Venus? No. What razor is for me?
She, he, Zimzer. If there's one thing we can all agree on, it's that hair is yucky. I used to spend hours at the store trying to decide which razor was built for me. Now I know. The All-Trans! The All-Trans razor from Shtick. Crafted to contour to any genitalia, the All-Trans gives the closest, smoothest shave. It doesn't matter what you have down there, so long as you don't have hair. Now that's a close shave. Whatever your shtick is, the All-Trans will clean it up. All-Trans is for everything in between. All-Trans from Shtick, a Popco brand.
Welcome to the arcade, kids. You got your nickels?
I got quarters.
Well, this is a nickel-only arcade, so...
So here's the deal. You give me a quarter, I give you 4 nickels back. There's a 1 nickel fee for turning your quarters into nickels so you can use them at my arcade.
Okay.
Thing is, the arcade still costs 50 cents.
Right.
So it's 10 nickels to play a game.
Right.
But we can't take quarters. You can't use 2 quarters.
Uh-huh.
This is how I make my money.
Okay.
The arcades are dead, except for mine.
Okay. So, I want to play here.
Mm-hmm. How many
Right.
quarters you got?
2?
Mm-hmm. All right, you get 8 nickels.
That's sweet.
That's not enough to play a game.
Oh shit. Well, if we're gonna, what about the Apple Arcade? Can I play that game called No Way Home?
Now, the Apple Arcade has put me out of business because they have a low subscription rate once a month, and you can play all kinds of games for free after your subscription, and they're addicting.
They are very addicting. This is the arcade. It's just like the Millennial Book Club segment. We are reviewing games. You can send your reviews. You can send your suggestions, though we'll toss right in the trash, to RoadSodaMail@gmail.com, or you can call in and leave your messages 706-200-1213, and we'll play them. Anyway, so here we are. This week's game, last week's game was Tint, and it was much different than this week's game. This week's game was No Way Home, and I sent this to. It was at the beginning of the week, and I was just making sure that the J-Man was going to be able to make it, see if he was willing. And then I sent him what I was like. So here's the game. And when I sent the game No Way Home, I put after it the little devil horns emoji. Mm-hmm. Just because I knew if anyone played this game, if you're me, or if you're into video games at all, I think even if you're not really into the type of game that this was, this one's gonna suck you in. I think this one is like, these games are this kind of game is rigged to do that. Yeah, it just
any game where you can level up,
yes,
distribute stats,
yep,
upgrade weapons,
ooh baby,
all of that stuff like hits your reward center. That's why RPGs for a very specific person are incredibly addicting.
Incredibly,
I am
addicting,
that person.
Yeah. And it is so. This game is essentially, if you read it, it says I think it says like space survival game or something, which is not a good explanation of it. So a survival genre for people who, that's somebody who just casually wrote the description, I think, or maybe it's very contemplated when they wrote it, because survival genre is not the RPG genre, I would say. It's also not the dungeon crawler genre. But you can't take this, you don't, as soon as you call it a dungeon crawler, you're going to turn away all the people that play like Fortnite, or like the kids that play Fortnite, or you're going to all the people that play like Clash of Clans, because that's almost like this survival, like you have to build something up, you're not doing that in this game.
Right.
This is a dungeon crawler. This is a through and through, at its heart, dungeon crawler.
But it's a really creative take on it because it's in space.
It's in space.
You fly around.
Dude, do you want to see... So I started playing this game, and it's got like this... The animation is very like Rick and Morty kind of like animation, like the drawing when you see the characters talking, and when you see like the aliens. And so it's not like insane graphics, right? Look how large the star map is, okay? So this is the map. I'm showing him. There's one map. This is like the little area. You can see the grayed out.
Sure.
Or not the gray. There's still a lot of places I haven't explored. Like these are teleporters. There's one over here. So I don't know what's in here.
Wow.
Right. But and then this is the star map. So each one of these dots,
holy crap,
is one of those.
So I mean,
you see this?
This might be like a 60-hour game.
Yes.
Do
you see this?
Oh my god, it's still going.
Do you see the size of the star map? And then you see in here. Wait. Do you look at this? Do you see this that blue thing?
Yeah.
So there's 10 of these dungeons. They're these massive heads that are just floating around, and you fly into the dungeon, and it locks you in there until you beat it. It's 3 waves. And you get this like glowing orb, and it tells you more about the game, like
lore wise.
Yes, you're like, what? There's like something else going on. So it's about this girl, and what was the cutscene at the very beginning? Because I forgot.
The cutscene at the beginning was essentially from what I gathered, there was like a large spaceship that had a destination, and the people were cryogenically frozen or something.
Oh, okay.
And then. At least that's what I was assuming. And
honestly.
And then it got off track.
Right.
And now you're in completely uncharted territory.
Yeah. And
10 years later, I think you're supposed to reach your destination much sooner than 10 years. And 10 years later, you reached a new destination. You got off track.
I think maybe when I started, I didn't even look at it at all.
Yeah.
I think that must have been what happened. So you're in like a little escape pod, and you have a little floating like helper module. I just clicked this thing. You have this little floating helper module, right? And so you're just in this alien place, and you're trying to figure out how to get home, and that's why it's called No Way Home. And you're thinking that these little dungeon things are going to help you get back to Earth. No one's heard of Earth. You basically just get sucked into like the underbelly of like these bars, and these people like go do works for these space pirates, and you're just running around. They're like bugs, and there's this one story going on where it's this queen, and she's got boyfriend problems because she's got 1,000 boyfriends. She's 1,000 kings, they're all her boyfriends, and they're like in fights with each other. And there's this prophecy, but she like but another king just made up the prophecy, and like it's fun, dude. It's a lot of fun, and you get to collect like these little. There's so many materials in this game from like. Pieces of metal, so there's metal alloys, like there's shit scrap metal all the way up to like super alloy scrap metal that you use to like craft guns, and like insane gun. You can upgrade all your guns. You have to update the plating on your craft so it's stronger. You have a shield that you want to keep upgrading, and then of course all of it is based on how much reactor core you have, so you have to keep upgrading your reactor core because you can't max it out. So like right now if you have 500, all the things you have totaled can only total 500. Because you would need a larger reactor to handle like the better weapons and everything.
So it prevents you from like kind of the reactor core is like a throttle to what you're capable of. So So you can't kind of like overpower the content basically, right?
Yeah. I think that is kind of what it is. It's just an awesome way of like
Because then you have to think creatively about make choices that are impactful. Like, do I want? I could max out all my weapons, but I won't have a good shield because I ran out of reactor core, and it's like I have to balance my defense and my offense. Or, what is my play style? Do I want to be incredibly defensive?
Right.
Like, I'm already all in,
dude. It is. As soon as I started playing it, before I even sent it to you, I was like, oh no, is that what this is?
Yeah,
is that what this is? And I'm so happy games like this exist in the Apple Arcade, because games like this are the games that you would pay $5 for,
or more. Like,
or more.
Yeah, honestly, like if this was in the game store for $10, I'd be like, yeah,
I would have bought it.
Yeah,
again and again. Because
you only have to buy it once, Isaiah.
Oh,
why do you keep buying things more than once?
I thought that's what you do, dude. I thought that if you like it, you just keep.
You don't have to buy it every time you go to play. You buy it once, and you can just keep playing it. You don't have to go back and give them another $10. It's not an Apple. Yeah,
man.
All right, I'm done.
I think
bit's over. It's bad.
I should have kept my receipts. Got a lot of receipts. But it is a fun game. It is a fun game, and I think for somebody who's a casual mobile gamer, so we have I know like Jeff and Ellie, she commented that she was playing. We have a message from Grant, so he was in the Apple Arcade playing. They've been playing these other games. I'm so interested to hear what you guys think of this game, because this is the game that a video gamer, I think, would jump on and be like, yeah, I'll play that on my phone. Like, absolutely, instead of having to carry around my the Switch, instead of having to carry around my Switch or something like that. I would play this game because I think a game like this would actually be on the Switch. In fact, there are some games in the Apple Arcade that are also on the Switch. But yeah, man, are you gonna play?
This game goes all the way in the whatever category, like binge it. Yeah.
This game really is in the binge it place for me. I was playing it on lunch breaks. I was playing it while watching the NBC. Yeah, but it is a fun game, and I guarantee whatever we play next, I'm gonna be cycling back to this game, because this game is many, many, many hours. You can have this on many flights and many shits with you. This game, and it's always going to be fun. I mean, you turn it on and like you've got the gun that you've built.
Sure.
And it's like doing all this massive damage. It's so much fun because you build a gun that really destroys shit, and then you go into like the next little star map place and it kills nothing, and you're like, fucking A, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just got this gun that murks, and now it's not doing anything.
It's great.
I love it. I love it so much.
Chuck E. Chan's Martial Arts and Crafts Emporium. You know my uncle, Jackie Chan, as a spectacular martial artist. I'm not, because I personally abhor violence, and more importantly, the geese really upset my psoriasis. But I have been around my uncle and martial arts all my life. This store is a testament to that. We sell the highest quality martial arts related crafts. You see a lot of boards being broken in the belt test, and they are all just so plain. Spice it up with some googly eyes, or with just a few pipe cleaners and creativity, you could change that board into a swan. We could tie-dye your gi and bedazzle that belt. All of the best martial arts and crafts and more. Just ask for me, Chuck E. Chan. Chucky, you are a big disgrace. Uncle Jackie, you're so funny. Chuck E. Chan's Martial Arts and Crafts Emporium.
Justin, last week, I just smacked the mic. Last week, you were not on the show.
I was not.
I was talking like you were the whole time, but you never answered, so I guess you must have not been on the show.
I was not here.
You were not here?
No.
Where were you?
I was in Los Angeles, specifically Anaheim, so kind of...
Is that in California?
LA. Yes, it is in California.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, actually, I don't think LA is in California. I think it's in West Arizona. So, yeah.
I think they call it Mexicali.
Yes.
It's all that way.
also, yeah. But so I was out there in LA trying to make some contacts for music, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people. And
Right.
a lot of it thanks to my friend Sean. You know, he has a very successful YouTube channel, and he's been going to this for a while. So I'm very grateful to him, because a lot of the people that I met were, you know, through him, just by vicinity. And I kind of had this thing where I was going to not recognize anybody intentionally, not so much as like a power move as it is just kind of like I want them to
I heard of you.
Right. So, for instance, I got to meet a lot of really cool, like, famous people on YouTube. And every time I just said, hey, man, it's nice to meet you. My name's Justin. So I didn't acknowledge them.
Did you meet Tay Zonday?
No, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Chocolate Rain.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. No, not him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then I guess not
really
famous people
famous,
on
right?
YouTube.
Yeah. But famous in the music scene, and, you know, people with like 500 to 2 million subscribers. Like,
yeah.
like
So
big
you
names.
went to like an actual like...
It's like a music convention.
Yeah, like a convention thing.
It's Namm stands for the North American Musical Merchandisers, and it's not open to the public. I believe Sunday it's open to the public, but most people are kind of don't want to be there during when it's open to the public. And you have to be invited by a company and or be representative of a company. And a lot of gear manufacturers, from violins to guitar pedals to drum sets, guitars, you name it, harps, like there's instruments there. And it's kind of for a few reasons. If you own a music store, it's a good way to get your orders in for the year and just plan with a company to be like, hey, let's set up my monthly order every month for the whole year and give me a 20% discount, right? It's also a way for content creators such as myself to introduce themselves to companies and talk about doing work for promotions in the future. And it's also very good to meet other musicians to
So
collaborate.
were you doing like cold like introduces? Like you would just walk up and be like, I want to hit this booth because I know they do this stuff. I'm going to go introduce myself. Like that kind of thing?
Yes.
Cool.
And the main thing was, like I said, the one thing was to not treat anyone like a celebrity. And the idea was for me to act like I had been there before and kind of
You really had to like sell yourself then, huh?
Yeah, but what I did for the companies was different than meeting like the kind of famous people. Was I just showed up and I didn't tell them who I was or what my goal was, and I just kind of talked to them and made jokes. And I only want to work with people that I like and who make equipment that I enjoy, right? So if they show me their pedals and they're enthusiastic, or any of the gear, like I hooked Sean helped me hook up a new recording interface, for instance, from Arturia, and I got to talk. Arturia is a really big synthesizer and recording equipment company, and I was talking to their product designer, and his enthusiasm for his design was intoxicating.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I went to some other places and they were just kind of like not very talkative and not very interested, without knowing who I was or what my goal was. Just I could have been anybody. I could have had 5 million subscribers on YouTube, and they don't know it, right?
Yeah.
They So meeting people, and so I would, if I vibed with them and if they were laughing at my jokes, then I would kind of bring up. And my model right now, because it's so inundated, is, hey, either I'll buy the first one at artist pricing, or you can send me it and I'll send it back. And that's really refreshing, because when you tell somebody that you're a content creator, and unfortunately my badge said content creator, social media influencer, it's like an instant eye roll from these companies. There's so many of you who want free stuff. But the fact is I make quality content, and I know that. And so I know that if they give me something, I can represent their brand well, and that they're going to, a lot of times when we have a deal where, oh, you send me something, I'll make a demo and I'll send it back. A lot of times they just let me keep it. They're grateful, or or it just opens up a relationship. And there was one guy from KMA Audio. He's a guitar pedal manufacturer. And after we had kind of vibed and he ran me through some of his gear, I had said, hey, I do gear demonstrations on YouTube. And instantly his demeanor changed, right? He was like not interested in talking to me. And then when I told him what I do, either buy the first one for artist pricing or do the buy, send it back, he goes, oh, that's an excellent model. And then his tune changed again. So I had a really good strategy going in, and I think I've pretty much gotten my work for the year. And also my friend Ryan, who has his own YouTube channel, but also does distribution for a lot of companies. He just hooked me up with a store that needs content, and that'll be paid, which is nice, and that could be 4 to 8 videos a month. So that means that like I pretty much got all my work for the year and then some.
Right.
So I really think this is going to be the year where my channel grows and music becomes a bigger part of my life financially, which is ultimately, the goal. But it was really fun. It's very loud.
Yeah.
And
it's like in a big convention center, I'm sure.
Huge convention center in Anaheim. And there's 2 2-story buildings and, 1 3-story building and 1 2-story building. And if you count the basement, I guess.
Where were you staying when you got out there? Were you staying with somebody?
Dude, it was so great because you know how I grew up, and we were staying in an Airbnb in a very sketchy apartment complex.
Oh, baby.
Like kind of in a little bit of the ghetto. And the very first night we were there, it was a Anaheim police at 11:30 at night. And Sean and Cody, my buddies, were like, kind of like, what's going on out there?
Right.
Like they were real nervous about it. And I was like in bed sleep. I was like, that's crickets to me, baby. Like,
that's right. I can't sleep without it.
And it was funny because whenever we were at the airport, Cody was like, dude, I just want to thank you for securing the Airbnb. Like, it's a thankless job, and thank you so much. And the next morning after that first night, seeing the place and then experiencing the cops showing up the first night, he was like, yeah, I'm taking that back. Like, it's not thankless. Like, you're off duty next year. I was like, that's fine with me.
Fine with me. You think I picked that on purpose?
But you got to think about it. Like, after taxes and everything, for a 2-bedroom Airbnb in Anaheim during a convention, it was $800 for 4 nights. Like, it was like, it ended up being $175 a night. So whatever that, it might not have been 800, but it was a little less. But
even still, it was
a good deal.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, the hotels were $300 a night, and it's
and you fucking made it in and out.
Yeah. So
that's cool. And outside of, did you do anything outside of that?
We walked around downtown Disney a couple times because it's within walking distance and you don't have to pay to get in.
Right.
And so that was cool. I met with some pedal builders and see, the thing is that like on the conference floor, you do your best to network, but it's hard because it's loud and there's so many people and you don't want to take up too much of their time. The goal, and it's funny because I was actually just learning about Japanese business practices, and the goal is so similar to that, right? Like,
right.
You're not going to talk to the owner first. You're going to talk to somebody else. And the goal is to be invited to lunch or dinner, right? Or a private party, which is what we ended up doing, is getting invited to a lot of private parties. And I know that sounds like borderline humble brag. It's not that challenging.
Yeah.
But they are smaller and it's more relaxed. So at that point, you can go to these kind of private parties, and let's say there's like a musician you really like there, and you introduce yourself and you're talking, and then these people see you laughing with a famous musician, and then the musician introduces you to this person, or it's all about like that image, and it kind of sucks, but that's what it is. It's being seen and being seen with important people,
all
and
about
then
who
other people think you're important, and then but it was really fun. I got to play a lot of new gear. It was incredibly inspiring, not only as a content creator, but as a musician. I got to meet Paul Gilbert. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a very famous guitar player. I got to stand within like feet of Javier Reyes from Animals as Leaders in a very like relaxed situation and watch him play guitar. And it just opened up my eyes to how I could approach the instrument. And so it was just very inspiring.
So where did you get to kind of watch him do that?
He was at a booth. Tosin Abasi has guitars, which is the other guitar player for Animals Leaders. He got a line of guitars, and it was just at a booth, and it just happened to not be that busy. And I introduced myself. I was like, hey, man, I just want to say thanks. Like, I super appreciate your work, and I'm coming to see you guys in March, and I've seen you guys in concert before, and all this, just kind of like trying to play, like, not asking for selfies or autographs, just being like appreciative of how hard it is to do what you love for a living. And and it was cool. It's Namm. It's exhausting. Your body hurts. Like, honestly, I don't know how you hike the AT, because we were walking 10 to 13 miles a day on this convention thing and interacting with all these people, and it's just like your shoulders start hurting. It's like, why does the rest of my body hurt?
I've been walking. Why does it just hurt?
Yeah. And but the highlight of the trip for me was Friday was my birthday, and Jeff Garland is a comedian. He plays Larry David's manager on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And obviously he was at Namm. I guess he plays Gibson guitars, and he's typically,
so he's just at
he's
Namm,
just there. Yeah.
Around.
And I think he's kind of a spokesperson.
Did you see anybody else
Gibson.
like really like kind of in that realm, like movie star kind of thing. Actually,
Yeah, and
right?
I can't think of who it was because there were a few people that were famous, but they weren't really like.
But it couldn't have been somebody better for you because you're
yeah,
so
exactly,
into like curb your enthusiasm. Yeah.
But what was great is you can't like mob them, right? Like you're supposed to, right? And so
cool, man.
and a lot of people are like pointing like, oh, that's Jeff Garlin and stuff. And you know me, man, like strategic mind. I set myself up. I looped like stealth to where we would have to cross paths. And he was walking around with an agent, and the agent was like introducing him to very specific people. So obviously,
like, fuck this guy, move this guy. Like,
hi, this is so and so.
Yeah.
He's from this, and you guys should work together, like other actors or other famous musicians, or even people from Gibson, because like I said, I think low key he's a spokesperson for them. But
right.
And so, anyways, I made it to where we would cross paths. And when I did, I'm going to do this face, and it's hard to describe to the audience, but I did a very fake, like, oh, are you? Because I was like, and it was so fake, like, obviously, I know who you are, but I tried to play it cool, like, what? And I made, like, a really exaggerated, squinted, and I pointed at him, and he kind of laughed, but then I also realized that his face instantly kind of turned to like, I don't want to be spoken to. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is bad. Right. And, but I did the same thing. I approached him. I was like, hey, man, I just want to say thanks. I'm a huge fan of Curb and I appreciate your work. And he like slaps my hand out of the way and hugs me. It was a birthday hug. And he's like, you're awesome. Something about, cause like everybody wants a selfie or whatever. And he's like, no, so he thought it was cool that I said thank you. And he gave me a birthday hug. And when I went back over to my group, they were like, why the fuck did you hug him? Like, what are you doing? You know? And I was like, first of all, Jeff Garlin hugged me, okay, and it was consensual. All right, like,
and you bet your ass I wanted to hug back.
It was great, and so for Jeff Garlin to hug me and call me awesome on my birthday was a great birthday hug.
Dude, that is fuck.
And I have to tell you that I think that's the way to approach celebrities is or like kind of from what I learned from meeting a lot of famous musicians is just to show them that you recognize how much sacrifice goes into getting where you're at and how much hard work, and just show gratitude because they've impacted your life and they seem incredibly receptive to that.
Yeah, don't have to ask for more from them.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've done all this other stuff for your career, and then I've kind of jumped on it, and it's been done for me. But can you also give me a picture, and you can give me an article, autograph, and can you give me this other things? Yeah,
and to be fair, like I was around some pretty famous people while we were walking around who were getting recognized, and they didn't seem to mind. But it is like you could tell that like we were having a conversation. Or at least they were having a conversation with someone in my group, one of the two, and a person would just kind of come up and insert themselves and say like, oh, I'm a huge fan and you're so great and can I get a picture for my Instagram? And you could tell that like they didn't mind and they like, so some people were like, oh, I really enjoy this types of interaction, because some people were kind of just over it,
Yeah.
And I get that because it's like you don't, it almost seems like you don't want to meet me or interact with me because of how I've impacted your life. You want to meet with me and interact with me so that you can show everyone on Instagram that you stood next to me. And it's like, to what end, Yeah. So like I said, some people seem to like it, some people seem to not. But I think the best way to approach that is just with gratitude.
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree. Yeah. Cause you're right. It's, at the end of the day, because that's you were explaining, that's how much you're explaining how that is kind of the environment that you're in. It's like everyone wants to be seen with somebody else, everyone wants to buy, but like you can't be so transparent and just being like, just give me a picture with you, man. Just I want to, I want a little bit of more of what you got. Let me have it. Let me come close.
Now some people would say like, oh, hey, would you like a picture? They were very into that, and I think that like
because they know that's what you already want,
sure,
and it's gonna be, it's gonna give you something more. It's gonna,
To be fair, nobody said that to me. But, they were like, I don't want to be seen with this guy. Look at him.
Well, because honestly, if they get seen being like, can I give you a picture, then everyone else around, like,
it
Jeff
starts
Garlin,
a line.
Like, oh shit, everyone line up, he's giving out pictures.
The other thing I will say is that like, so I work with a lot of small music companies, and it's like the owner and two people, and they have full-time jobs, and like the amount of respect that I have for the people out there even not just the musicians making that sacrifice, but the people making the gear that changes the way that I approach the instrument. And it's just like, man, you guys work so hard because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a full-time job, and that's inspiring to me because I have a full-time job and I'm trying to make music a part of my life. And so is everybody else there. And it's all for the love of it. It's not for money or fame,
right.
You know, like, it's just cool. Now, of course, it was LA. There was a huge amount of people who were definitely looking for fame and money, but most of the builders and the musicians that I interacted with all it was just so inspiring. They're like, I love music. I want to create it, and I want it to be a part of my life. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, fuck yeah, man. And you spent, the whole thing was like, what, 3-4 days long?
Let's see. We got there Wednesday. There's a little bit Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I left Sunday because Sunday's the day it's open to the public. And I hear it's like even more hectic and loud. So
right.
I just didn't want to be there.
Well, fuck yeah, man. That was just a text. But anyway, that's really, really awesome and inspiring to hear about. And guys, you can check out all of... what's your name again? Justin.
Yeah, Jacquavius Rainbow Escalade III, Esquire.
Yeah. You can check out all his stuff. It's his moniker is Search, Find, Search.
Yep, easy to remember.
Easy. Search, Find, Search. And you can find him on Instagram and your YouTube channel and everything. Right?
Yep, and I appreciate it. Honestly, like, it's mostly gear demos. So, like,
if you're into music, you're in that.
Yeah, if you're into music, but if you're not, it's not for you. So I understand. Appreciate it.
You have because that's what so much of social media is these days, is very niched things, and you found this brilliant little space of gear demos and something that you enjoy doing and like being a part of, and that's fucking awesome.
That being said, even if you're not interested in the content, you can totally just follow me and subscribe to pump up my numbers, and then mute me. I don't even care. Just pump up my numbers.
The jam.
Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah. Well, I loved that story because you texted me earlier in the week and told me that.
Yeah.
And told me about how you got a hug. And I was like, how the fuck did he possibly get a hug from this guy that I know he respects so much? I love that so much.
I wish the context of the story made me sound cooler. Like, I wish that I, got to have lunch with him or something.
No, dude,
but it was just,
even still, that in passing. Like, come here, let me give you a hug. It
was great.
Fuck yeah, man.
At Goldstein & Goldstein, we get your money. We get your money. Just give a call. 1-800-JEWS-4-HIRE. Don't have a lawsuit? No problem. We've got plenty. Car wreck? Does your neck hurt? Doesn't matter. You'll get your money. Our family-owned practice has been getting people money for generations. We invented the hot coffee. The slip and fall, patent pending. We aren't saying we launder money, but we will take your cash to the cleaners. One time, a nice old lady called us and said her neighbor's dog kept shitting on her lawn. Now the neighbor eats through a straw. We fixed the problem. At Gorbachev and McGillicuddy, we'll kill your neighbor's dog and make it look like an electrical thing. Ever heard of a little place in France called Notre Dame? It wasn't even insured, but the Pope knew just who to call. Finkelskrank and Goose Tank. Now he's got the money. Come on down, call us 1-800-JEWS-FOR-HIRE. Get your money.
Millennial Book Club. Millennial Book Club.
This is the mascot burial crate.
They don't deserve coffins.
They don't deserve coffins. It was the mascot burial coffin, but they came down and they say, we don't make coffins big enough for mascots.
Nope, we sure don't. And
we got these crates.
They couldn't afford them.
Exactly. The lowly mascot deserves no rights. They deserve no benefits.
You know what's so funny is knowing Grant, he's probably like, okay, as a part of the mascot union of the United States, like, he just knows everything.
You son of a bitch. This week's Millennial Book Club, or this is the Millennial Book Club, and where we're just watching Netflix, and they're only Netflix originals. If you want to send your reviews, you can to RoadSodaMail@gmail.com. Or you can call in and leave a message at 706-200-1213. So this week's Millennial Book Club, was Messiah. Mm-hmm. Messiah got a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 41% in Rotten Tomatoes, which is not
great.
It's actually better. The people at Peru's IMDb liked it more than Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes has got a very specific thing that they like. Mm-hmm. If it's not Little Miss Sunshine, they don't like it.
Yeah, Wes Anderson, number one.
Wes Anderson, number one.
Wait, did he do Little Miss Sunshine?
No.
Fuck.
But it's still in the same vein.
Yeah.
If you like Little
Life
Miss Sunshine,
Aquatic, whatever.
You love Life Aquatic. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. A CIA officer investigates a charismatic figure whose followers believe he can perform miracles. See, they just gave away so much of the plot.
They did.
Right with that. Because they used the word. So I just want to, before we roll into this too much, I watched 2 full episodes. Okay? And whatever happened in those 2 episodes, I think we will freely spoil. So if you haven't watched it, you want to watch it, then do it. But we're gonna talk about it openly. I'm assuming Justin probably did. You?
Yeah.
How much did you watch that much?
Actually, Mandy was really into it, so I've seen the whole thing.
You saw the whole thing.
Yeah, basically, my wife and I watch one episode. It's kind of like around 9:00. We watch one episode of something together before she goes to bed. And then I usually play like an hour of video games after she goes to bed to kind of wind down. And so that was our one episode a week, or a night for a while.
So that is, in the 2 episodes that I watch, and the reason it just gave it away is because in the 2 episodes that I just watched, a lot of things happen with him, and they're miracles. Like anybody in like. If they happen, like you would either have to be David Blaine for some of the shit that, because he was at one point he was captured by the Israelis and he was like in their hole, like in their detention for people that are like, which you have less rights than a citizen, obviously, if they just pull you off the border or some shit. And he escaped. Like somehow the door is open. There's probably 30 locked doors between him and the outside when he just walks the fuck out, right? And then this other thing happens where this little boy gets shot and he pulls the bullet from the boy and the boy's healed, right? So that's what started leading me to believe, I'm like, are they really going to twist this into this guy is some kind of mastermind sleight of hand guy? Are they going to twist it into that? Or is this like a legit supernatural thing that's happening right now? Is this a drama about like a Messiah coming back and like, is it real? Is it when the Messiah really comes back, are the Americans going to treat it like this guy's a fake terrorist? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
But then when you read the description here, the description sounds like it comes from somebody who watched the whole fucking thing, right? CIA investigated a charismatic figure whose followers believe he can perform miracles. He may be a divine entity or a dangerous con artist.
Right, which is honestly, I think that after seeing all 10 episodes, I think that's an excellent description.
You do?
Yeah, because so I can just say anything that happened in the show, right? Like we've given our disclaimer. The disclaimer is that it's spoiled. If you watch the whole thing, you can spoil it. So I'm not gonna spoil too much, but I just want to know, have you seen him in the second episode? Has he walked on water yet?
No.
Okay, so there is an episode where he walks on water.
Okay.
And he does it in front of a large crowd to try to be like,
Yeah, every time something happens, it's in front of a large crowd. Like when he starts predicting that the end is going to come, like at the very beginning, and then that storm,
the sandstorm comes in.
Lets him out, yeah.
The point is that I think that I like this show. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just connected it because there is nothing written into anything unless it has a purpose. And the main character, female, is fighting her own battle of cancer.
Right.
He cures her cancer, doesn't he?
So
he waves his hand.
Here's the thing. He does a lot of things
right.
that could be considered miracles. Mm-hmm. But there's also a moment, and I'm going to spoil this moment because there's a moment where there's a dog that is injured after a natural disaster, and he's in this town. It was a tornado. And the dog is trapped under a rafter. And the scene is a father and a son. And I'm spoiling this. There are many more moments like this, but it's just to give you an idea. The father has a gun. The son is crying. The dad's crying. And they're like, he's like, I'm sorry. Like, we have to kill him. So the Messiah starts approaching this house, and there's a huge crowd following him. It's like, he's going to heal the dog. He's going to heal the dog. And he walks up, and he goes, something like, I can help you. And they're building it up like he's going to heal the dog. And then the scene cuts to an overhead shot of the house, and he just shoots the dog.
Right.
And then it cuts back to him, and they're like, everybody's looking at him in shock. And he goes, no living being should be made to suffer. And
Right.
it's like, well, if he's the Messiah, why wouldn't he just heal the dog, you know? And so, is he capable of healing the dog? Like, what, you know?
I like that he killed the dog.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Because what he did, he took the responsibility in a way that it still is a divine gesture.
Right,
Nobody escapes death. In killing, everyone wants that divine way out of like heal the dog, but that's not how the universe works. You
Right.
don't get to just
Yeah, and so
come back to
basically,
life. I'll take the burden from you of killing the dog, but
and so the way that it goes is that he knows things about people
Yes.
before ever meeting them.
Yes,
and
he
so
does.
the show does a very, very good job of making it to where, well, he could just be a charismatic sociopath who's very good at his job, like a terrorist, or he could be divine. And every single miracle, quote unquote, is disproved while simultaneously being supported.
Right.
And so the show does a really good job of letting you decide, is this, what is this?
right.
And it's just really fascinating. Down to the very last episode. The very last episode gives you a cliffhanger, obviously, for season 2 because it's Netflix, and it gives you a cliffhanger of like, oh fuck, like he is divine, but at the same time, because of the way they've built everything up, this also could just be nothing. He could be a terrorist, and it's very, very exciting, kind of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
At certain points, like it's very good.
I think it is. It's very well written. I like the way the story is written, the way it's being explained, because it is, the approach that the Americans are taking and trying to be precautious and everything. It's realistic in that way, but it's also like, because I don't know, man. Even if he were planning all these things out and he were like they were divine miracles, like. Even in that, like, David Blaine doesn't do a disappearing trick where he disappears and appears on the top of a roof 2 blocks away in front of a crowd, like, on TV, until he's planned it out for months and months and months, and every little detail nothing is not thought about, right? So for this guy to be walking around and gathering crowds and having a kid get shot and pulling a bullet out and doing all this shit, it's like, dude... He planned all this out.
And what I do love is the way the character is written. So I told you he walks on water. And a reporter, like, he gets mobbed later on in a hotel. And a reporter goes, "Did you walk on water?" And he's really calmly just responds, "What did you see?"
Yeah.
He's so non-committal about everything.
I'll let you decide.
Yeah,
because that's
what did
Jesus
you
would
see?
do.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. What did you see? You know, and so, but the shooting the dog was a scene that I think it might be the 3rd episode actually, and that's the scene that kind of like got me interested. Up until then, I was like, all right, this show is okay, something to watch with my wife. But when he shoots the dog, that's when I was like, all right, I'm listening. You know,
because now that's really throwing some.
Because
they're throwing some shit into the.
But like you said, that could also be a divine.
I think
gesture.
It is.
You know,
I think it is because it's a teaching thing about life. What if he did heal the dog? Then it makes everyone forget about the fears of life. That guy's not going to be there forever. Divine entity is not there always. You can't. It is not responsible for him to make all these people look. Next time Grandma gets smushed by a house, don't worry. Fucking Jesus is going to walk up and heal her. Don't worry about it. And do whatever you want.
Yeah, and it also makes you think about like, what is the role of God? Like, let's say there is a God. Some people listening may be devout, and so like, let's say there is a God. What is his role, right? Like, if there is a God and someone you love has cancer, and you're praying for that cancer to go away, is it his or her responsibility as God or as the second coming of the Messiah or whatever, is it his or her responsibility to heal that cancer? Is that not the nature of the world that this deity, is it deity or deity? Deity.
Yes, and it's
created.
also his responsible to make the Falcons get a touchdown in
Yeah.
the fourth quarter
Yeah.
on a second down.
That's right. Because I got money.
Because I got money riding on that line.
But you think about it, and like the laws of physics govern everything, right? In a way, and so you think about the laws of physics are bound to what was created by this deity, right? And you think about like death and entropy and things like that, and so. Is it this deity's job to counteract what they've made? And how do you judge who or what deserves to be healed or to be saved? And also, is a hurricane a punishment? For an area. Right. I remember in Katrina, some people were saying like it was a punishment for like a city of sin. It's like that's absurd,
that
right?
Is absurd, yeah. Because any city it could have been considered a city of sin.
Sure. Especially the city I'm in. Hey, baby.
Yeah, baby. It's just it's I think it's a good thought-provoking show.
The other thing that I like is that despite it being called the Messiah, I would actually consider the Messiah a supporting character. The show truly focuses on a lot of other characters. I would say close to a dozen other characters and their story arcs and their faith and their perception of the world and their perception of morality and their perception of religion. And so he is just a supporting character in that way. It's kind of like how when we talked about The Witcher, what was interesting is that a lot of episodes, Geralt, even though he is the Witcher and it's called The Witcher, the episodes are not about him directly, right? It's about this universe. And so, in a way, I think Messiah kind of does the same thing. So it was engaging, I would say definitely binge it,
Yeah, I couldn't help but think that it would make it seems like a Vertigo comic. It's got the same feel, the same thought-provoking kind of themes that they put into a good Vertigo comic. Yes, there are some fantastical things happening in this realm, but it's also set against very realistic people and personalities and how they would react in these situations, and I love that shit.
And one of the things that was interesting is that they eventually do find his real name. They find out who he was. And the idea is that the Messiah would have come as, or at least they believe that maybe he wouldn't be born. He would come into this world as he was, right? Which is possible. Maybe he wasn't reborn as a Dalai Lama or something like that, right? So they find out who he is, and they try to discredit him from being the Messiah because they're like, we know who you are. And he's like, his response to that is, I was once known by that name, yes. And it's interesting. Again, it's the same thing as did you walk on water? It's like, well, what did you see? It's very compelling, thought-provoking.
I like it. Yeah, guys, definitely check that ish out.
And and just the very last thing I want to say
go ahead,
is
please.
I really enjoy any show that encourages a conversation between my wife and I, especially when we disagree. It's really fun to discuss a show and your thoughts and how it impacted you. And not all shows do that. You know?
That is the mark, I think, of a good show.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people like to discredit reality shows and those kind of shows like Catfish and things like that. Because, yes, the show itself is fucking mindlessly and they just throw it up. The reason I think it does so well is because people love to sit at home with their significant other or someone else and talk about that shit. It sparks something in your real life to be able to be like, look at these look at this shit happening. Look at this. So I do, I liked the show. I would say, put it up there on Binge It. At least try to check it out because I think it's thought-provoking. It's well done. I'm excited about this next show.
What is it?
This next show in the Millennial Book Club, what we'll be talking about next week is the show called Kipo. Kipo comes to us. It's an animated show from DreamWorks, actually. But it's not like one of those 3D animation. It's like an actual cartoon. Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts is an all-ages animated television series created by Radford Seacrest. Don't know who that is. Adapted from his 2015 webcomic, Kipo. The series is produced by American company, DreamWorks Animation. And it doesn't explain the actual thing. It was called Kipo in the Age of the Wonderbeast. It looks like it takes place in some kind of future or something like that. But on... Does it even have a rating on... It just says Google. 98% of Google users liked it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
It doesn't say...
Thanks. Appreciate that.
It doesn't give us the... Maybe it's too new to have a...
Yes, out of 6 billion Google users, 98% like this.
That's insane. That would
And also impossible.
also impossible. How many Google users have Netflix? Okay. All right, everybody. Wait, does that mean it's not a Netflix original? No, I think it is a Netflix original. I was just, looking at it. Alrighty, guys. So, if you want to send in your reviews for this week's The Messiah, you want to keep talking about that, you can send that to RoadSodaMail@gmail.com, or you can call in at 706-200-1213 and leave a message, and we'll play that shit right. Yeah.
And for the record, you can also just call in. You don't have to call in if you're not capable. If your phone can't do that.
I prefer you call in.
Well, some people have iPhone 4S. They don't have the call feature.
Fucking get the fucking call feature. Before before it gets to the end, there's the beginning, and then there was that middle part, and then that's it. That's a whole episode of Road Soda. That was what episode 124 sounded like. What did you learn?
I learned that monkeys are dangerous, man.
Yeah, doesn't
like
matter.
every time monkeys are in the news, it's bad. There's never like monkey saves drowning child or anything.
No.
It's always like monkey stole Rolexes and broke out.
I broke away, man. You know what I have found? I learned that Texas monkeys are very bad.
Yeah, Texas specifically
has very bad monkey problem.
With their open carry laws.
I know.
Yikes.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
I learned
but
that.
They're very progressive that they extend the open carry laws to primates. They're like, hey, they're one of us, Very progressive.
Very progressive. I learned that these... What was I going to say? I learned that the... oh, no, we got another person is rolling up here. One sec. Learning about that you can shoot somebody and then a year later you can still get charged with their murder.
Right, even though you didn't go to jail for shooting him in the first place.
Right. Do you think he did? No, they're like, now you're going to jail.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
Third strike. Shoot me twice, shame on you. Kill me, shame on me. You're
Shame
going to
on
prison
me.
or whatever.
I don't know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my grandma used to say. Mm-hmm. So on next week's episode, guys, we're playing the game Butter Royale for the arcade. So I hope you enjoy that. You can send your reviews over as well for the Millennial Book Club, which next week is Kipo. And send all those to RoadSodaMail@gmail.com or call in 706-200-1213 and leave a message. And other than that, just go to bed early, really.
Go to bed early.
And everybody, see you next week.